Hello, good evening, family. How is everybody doing? Welcome again to another Family Talk Live with the Dookies. And today's session is for everybody. Well, as long as you're a parent, this is for you.
Or aspire to be a parent.
Or yes, you're right. As a matter of fact, once you are in the position of being an influence in your child's life, this is for you. This is for you. So anyone who you know is a teacher or a primary caregiver, grandma, auntie, uncle, once you have children around you and you are in a position to influence your children, this session is for you. So let us introduce ourselves first. I think my husband is he's looking forward to getting and digging deep into this topic. You notice I haven't mentioned what it is yet? So for those who are just joining us for the first time, welcome. I am Sanya Duki. I'm a mental health therapist and I am a Christian parent and family coach. And right here with me is my loving husband.
I'm Courtney Duki, psychologist, registered provisional psychologist, relationship coach, emphasizing emphasis in trauma, work with individuals with mental health challenges, work in a private practice with my wife in which we work with families, couples, and parents in trying to find ways to deal with the challenges of the day that we're facing.
Yes. And so we have developed the organization Dookies Institute, which our focus and our mission is to reach Christian families, to help Christian families restore their marriage and also restore their parent-child relationship, helping parents, get that power or feel empowered to confidently parent their child. So today we're going to be talking about discipline. And I wanted to talk about this topic a long time ago because this is one of my favorite topics. I think it's because of the culture where I grew up. I was raised in a particular culture which defines, as growing up, it was defined a certain way. And then through all my own reading and my own studies and just research, and also in my own experience as a parent, what I've come to learn about discipline.
If you want me to talk about discipline from my perspective, how I experienced it.
Yes. Should we get into that?
I said one of my things I shared with people that before the movie, some people watch the movie Matrix.
Yeah.
When Neo there is these someone shooting at him, and he went underneath the bullets that were coming his way.
Yes.
And I remember some years ago when I saw that movie, I was like, oh, I've been doing that acting piece for a long time, because remember my father was a loving dude. I wouldn't exchange him for anybody else, but his method of discipline at times was I saw about 6 or 7 plates coming my way. I guess I was supposed to do the dishes, and I never get them done. So when I came in the house, I saw the dishes coming my way, and I was able to go underneath them to save myself. And that's why I use a movie, The Matrix. I was able to do those moves to get under those dishes that were coming my way. So I'm from Jamaica, and discipline is different from how we do discipline to how we should do discipline today. That's what I should say. Discipline, how I got discipline then wasn't healthy, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What is discipline? How should we discipline? How different types of discipline affects the brain. And so we'll touch the surface in our show today.
Yes.
As to what we can do with
well,
those
I've had my share of discipline, and maybe one day I'll get into it. But I wasn't one of those people who dealt well with spanking. I didn't deal well with that. No. I didn't bawl and pray for mercy and all that stuff. No, I was the angry child. I was the one. Okay, are you done now? That was me when I was getting spanking. So my question for you is, how do you define discipline? So I'd like for you to comment below. For those who are here, say hello and let me know. How do you define discipline in your home? And as a parent now, how would you say you discipline your child? Now, I've asked this question before,
Yes.
and the first thing that I would get is, oh, I know I'm not supposed to yell or I'm not supposed to spank, but sometimes I feel like, that's when I've done all my research out there. And I realized that we actually have missed the point of discipline. Itself, of what discipline really is. We
Well, before you go there, I don't want you to define it because I know you're going to get into defining it, but a lot of people we talk to, Sonia, are Christians. A lot of, even in our community here, and a lot of those who support us in our community are Christian parents. And before you even define what discipline is, I want you to answer something for me. I may answer this in your discussion. She's the guru I call it the guru in parenting, right? Her doctoral work, her entire doctoral thesis is about parent relationships. I'm picking on her today.
Don't pick on me.
There's this thing where the Bible says that, I think in Proverbs, that we don't spare the rod and spoil the child. And where I grew up, what that meant was that you don't keep the rod aside and allow the child to misbehave. Right. You pull the rod, which is the strap or the stick or the whatever it was. You get that and you spank the child with it. And parents are justified because they say the Bible says we don't spare the rod and spoil the child.
Yeah.
Curious.
Yeah.
Being the parenting guru you are, how do we address that Bible verse in Proverbs?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I love God. I in my studies, I've realized how merciful and how gentle God is. And so I went into my research. So I'm like, I got to know what these original words mean. And pretty much when I went into the original term for rod itself, I realized how much we have confused it with a beating stick. And we have messed up the interpretation from the part of instruction, leadership, and also the connotation it has to a stick or a rod that a shepherd would carry. Now, my question is, when a shepherd carry their rod, what do they do with it? What do they do with that stick? Do they use it and beat the sheep into submission? What do they do with it? So my understanding of a shepherd is that they usually use that stick to guide the direction of the sheep where they need to go. They use it to guide, not to hit or to use it as a way of chastising. What they would do is also they use a stick to defend their sheep from harm. Could be a wolf or another wild animal out there. They use it to defend their animal. They also use the stick to search through the grass for any poisonous snake or poisonous herbs or anything that the sheep is going to be taking or may eat. And so they would use the stick as a way to find those dangerous pieces. Another thing that they would use the rod for is if the child, if the sheep, we're like sheep, but if the sheep falls in a crevice or anything hard to reach place, they use the rod to pull the sheep out.
So how does that relate to, I'm a father, and sometimes my children trigger a level of frustration in me, and when they're not listening to me, how does that apply to me being a father and sometimes you have a feeling inside of you. And what do I do with that feeling, and is it a correct feeling? And tell me more about this rod, because you're saying the rod is for guiding, for protecting. How does it apply to me as a father, or the parents who are listening to us today? Some parents are very frustrated. The child or children have severe or challenges in terms of behavioral challenges, and the child keeps doing things, and the parents say, ugh, my end weight say, what do I do with this? And they feel like, ugh. Yeah. What do we say to our parents who are listening to us today?
Well, I'd say if a parent is feeling that way at that point in time, that is not the right point in time to be disciplining your child at all. Just cut it off, just shut it down, disengage at that moment. If you're feeling so overwhelmed and so angry to the point where you feel like you're just going to be lashing out at the child, that is not an appropriate time to be doing appropriate discipline. And what appropriate discipline is, why I gave the example of the rod and the shepherd, is that Jesus is our shepherd, right? And as parents, we are to model Jesus as well. And Jesus, we saw how he taught his disciples, and we saw how people who were outcast, people who society looked down on, people who were known as the bad people, they were drawn to Jesus. How? Why? Did he beat them into submission, or did he do something else? Was he a certain type of way where they were like, wow, I know I'm not worthy, but I feel like I'm accepted by you. And through the relationship or the connection they have with Jesus, they, in essence, he influenced them, right? And they were able to change.
I find that powerful, Sana, the way you explained that just now. I'm telling you why. Dan Siegel, who is a world-renowned sort of neuroscientist, psychiatrist, written many books on parenting and how to parent. He makes this point in one of his books, No Drama Discipline. Mm-hmm. And he said that when we spank or we aggressively parent our children, what we do, we create in our child an avoidance kind of a thing where the child wants comfort, but because of the way how we discipline the child through this aggressive medium or spanking, the child is not sure the child should come towards us or run away from us. So the child develops this kind of ambivalent attachment to the parent, and that ambivalence will go right into adulthood, how they live their lives into being married and relationships later on. But when you said that even the outcast and those who were disenfranchised and who have bad behaviors, those people came to Jesus, and even though he disciplined them because he never condoned certain behavioral challenges that they were doing. Didn't condone it, but they were happy, and they were driven towards him. It reminds me of what Dan Siegel is saying here, that this is the opposite, where you have a parent, Jesus, who in his parenting style, he is addressing things that people are drawn to him, as opposed to us parents today. What we see is that when we discipline our children through spanking and aggressive means, the child tend to develop this ambivalence. I want love, and I know I should get love from my parents, but I'm not sure I should go for love because they treat me this way. So my brain is sort of in this chaotic state. And that's something that's powerful.
And the other thing too is that the child develops fear. So we're doing fear-based parenting. And yes, temporarily we're going to get the child to do what we want them to do. But in the long term, once they are out of your house, and they're no longer under your control, I am sorry. All of that work, fear-based parenting that we did with them, bye-bye. You can say bye-bye to that child. So in the long run, in the long term, we got to think, what am I doing with my child now? What seeds am I planting right now in my child? So in the long term, they will have learned something so they can be on their own.
In regards to that, I have a question. I talk to a lot of parents, and when I explain to them like what you're talking about it there, they'll say to me, look at me. I experienced that kind of discipline. I experience the spanking.
Yeah.
Look at me. I never turn out too bad. I've
Mm.
got that's a common comment I get from
It's
parents.
very common. You're right. You're right.
So how do we respond to a parent who's listening to us from your research that you're doing? How do you respond to that parent who say, "Look at me, I turned out okay, and I got lots of spanking in my days."
Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
Well, the first thing I'd say is why. Why are we motivated to replicate the same thing that our parents did? Right? Is it because we feel like it's nurturing our love relationship with the child, or we feel like we are getting more power, we're exercising our power and authority over the child? And really, parenting is not about exercising your power and authority. Yes, we are in a position of power and authority, but it doesn't mean that we should put it or lord it over our children. We need to be gentle servant leaders, just like Jesus was. And so, yes, we might have been successful because, as a matter of fact, some aspects of, sternness, which I think, for those who want to connect into we just did a webinar a while ago talking about parenting styles. We went into the 4 parenting styles, and one of them we identified as high in demands. I have rules, I have expectations, I have limitations, and I expect you to follow them. The other, that aspect, that parenting style as well, also is high in warmth. Right? So when we can get that balance between I expect you to follow these rules, but you're flexible and you validate where the child is coming from, you listen to them as well. This is where we get longer lasting results. And this is where we find that an individual or a child, they will grow up more emotionally regulated when they go out into the workforce or on their own. They're not operating or working out of fear or I have to please the boss. They're doing it because they know I'm doing the best I can, and I'm going to do it because I know it's good. They're not doing it because they're fearful of getting in trouble with the boss or fearful that they're going to get fired and all that stuff. That's what we have to look into when we're parenting. I know for myself, a lot of aspects of how I was raised, and I know my parents love me. They will do everything for us, but the way it was done, now as a parent, I have to go through my own healing journey in order not to replicate that in my children. And I'm a mental health therapist. I am a child expert, child development expert. I am a parent coach, and I have to be going through that whole healing process even today, because I realize that when they respond a certain way, I am triggered a certain way, and I'm going to want to backfire like that. I have to be aware of it. So how did your parenting style, even though you turned out well, you turned out successful, how does it help you to nurture a loving relationship with your child where they're not angry with you all the time, or they're not resentful towards you, or they regret the way you treated them, or you later on will regret the way you responded to your children? Are you angry towards your children? Are you resentful towards your children? Those are things that we got to watch out for.
So two things. If you're here and you're listening to us, we need to see some comments like how do you view your role of parent? So what's your view on parenting, and what the do's and the don'ts in terms of parenting? Welcome, Marsha. Marsha said that people do what they know.
Yes.
You were brought up in a particular way.
Yes.
You will mirror the training as well. So Marsha is making that comment that look, people do what they know.
Yes, absolutely right. And that's one of the biggest thing I would say to parents when I'm talking with parents. We tend to be very easily guilted, right? And when we're realizing, when we're learning the right way, we're like, oh my gosh, I've been damaging my child. And I have to talk down parents to say, hey, come on, you can only do what you know, but now you're in a learning process. Parenting is a journey, and now you know the difference. Now is the best time to make these changes. And so that is really one of the biggest things of my parent coach, my work as I'm coaching parents, is Now that we are aware of certain things, how can we work on reversing, even if it seems like it's too late? Yes, we can work on reversing. There are things that we can do to help reverse parent-child dynamics
That's what
in
I'm curious about, because
relationships.
so now we know that basically establishing that things like
Yes.
spanking and that aggressive, I call it extreme demandingness of children, that we call corporal punishment or aggressive punishment for children, we, it messed the brain up. So it disintegrates the brain is not connected. These children find it difficult to learn in school. And so we know all of that, and we'll talk more about where you can get more information about this. What are some strategies, Sanya, you think, so a parent listening to us, what are some things we can start to do today to help influence the way how we parent? Again, I want to see your questions and your comments and on how you view the role of parenting,
Yes.
our discipline rather. How do you view the role of discipline in your home as a grandmother, a grandfather, a parent? I want to see your comments there. But what are some simple things we can start to do to make that shift? Like Marsha was saying there, we mirror what we know. How do we shift from we yes, you're right, we mirror what we see, but is there a way to shift the mirror or to have a different
Well, it is possible. It is possible to shift the mirror. It's not going to happen overnight. And as Marsha commented earlier, we're going to do what we know. So my first tip for you is to get in the know. Get in the know. I know that culture has a very, it's very influential in the way we parent. And sometimes we are parent pressured or pressured as parents. We want to perform because we don't want people to say we're spoiling our child, because we're more gentle and we talk to our children more instead of boofing them the first time they talk. Yeah. We need to get out of that mindset and do what we know is right for our children. We are mama bears. We are papa bears. We want to protect our children. We love them. So it's the same way with our discipline approach is, regardless of what grandma, auntie, or the community is going to say, do what you know is healthier for your child. And that is to nurture them in a healthy, emotional way and teach them to balance their thinking, problem solving, and all that stuff. And the best way of doing that is not punitive. Not punitive. So get in the know. Talk to somebody. Read some parenting books. Yes. I know, sometimes I might hear criticism. Oh, we're just going to go by the books here, what these old professionals do. And yes, we do research. We study human behavior. It is necessary. It is needed. We do that. I do that. And that is how I know what I know, because people do research and it's needed. So take a book. One of my favorite books, I love to read that, is by Don Siegel himself again. The Whole Brain Child. That's for children between 12 and under. Get that book. Read it. We also have Brainstorm, which is another book by Dan Siegel. That's for teens, all the way up to 25. Go into that book and talk about it, read it. And for myself, you can always contact me. Join my private group, the Empowering Christian Families private group. And also, our membership group, our paid membership group, which we'll talk about. We talk about these things in there. We teach you the proper strategies so you won't be sorry down the road. That's what we're here for. Getting the know. Get in the know.
One of the, I'll go through one. And if you've been following us for any time, you might have heard us talk about this one principle multiple times.
Yes.
And when I sit down with parents and teach them this technique, and it makes sense. Why haven't I thought of this before? And it's a technique. If you were in the previous group when Sana talked about parenting style, she even mentioned this: connect to redirect. Even when our children are misbehaving and doing things that we don't like, and that's as Sana mentioned earlier, that if you are in an aggressive and angry state, it means that you are not in the state to parent, and you need to step away. In order to connect with our children, we don't need to agree with their behaviors.
We don't have to
In other words, we don't need to agree to, we can validate emotions without agreeing with behaviors. And when we talk about connect to redirect, we connect with the child. We go down there and find out if they've done something wrong. Connect with the emotions because they're going through some stuff. And when we connect with their emotions and we can basically bring their system into calmness, then we can redirect them in the direction we want them to go. And when I sit down with parents to teach them this one technique and they go home and practice it, and they will come back and say, wow, at least they will say it's not perfect in beginning stage. They'll say it's not perfect, but at least I was able to do something different and to see a different result. And that you can see, they're relaxed they are, or they're smiling better because like, wow, this thing actually works. And then they come back and like, what else do I need to go? What else do I need to do?
What's the next
What's the next step? And
step?
that's how we take them through a different series of steps that they can take. But this one step can revolutionize your parenting. Or your interaction as a caregiver with a child is connect to redirect. How do we connect with the child's emotional state? And then, because when we connect with the emotional state, what we're doing, we're connecting with their fight, flight, freeze system. And then when we connect with them in the fight, flight, freeze system, and we have to calm that down, we can now speak to their prefrontal cortex, which is going to help them to potentially make the right decision in the future. That's just one technique that we teach parents that can revolutionize the way they think.
And we're going to stop there today. We're going to stop there today. If you want more, we are cordially inviting you to join our membership group. Our membership group is called Triple R, which means re-engage, restore, and reignite parents and couples relationships. This is a group where every week, Dr. Duke and myself, we will be doing a teaching on specific topics related to common issues that parents face. It could be, how do I deal with my child when she is having a tantrum? And then the next week you realize, okay, well, now I have this issue where my child is lying. How do I deal with that? So what we do, we prepare teaching specifically for your questions, and we give you strategies in this teaching time to go try and come back and share with us in this membership group. We keep each other accountable. And this is also a group where that couple may say, how do we learn to improve our relationship, how we talk to each other? And how can we do that? This is the group where we are going to be teaching you that one-on-one strategy, that you can go try immediately and come back to us, get your support, and move forward in.
And that's the powerful thing about these groups and this membership is that you have both of us, and we come in weekly to address these concerns. But you also have the community, the group, the home base, where there are other parents, there are other couples, there are other individuals struggling with similar things. And we are growing and experimenting and working together in this family. We call it a family. And how we grow together. And I'm excited to share it with you guys because I'm looking forward to these teachings. So many couples and parents have been asking for something like this. So we're now saying, let's create a platform in which we can start to teach skills, and you go and you apply the skills, and you come back and tell us how's that working. And it's like, I'm excited to share this because right now, because we're working with, we call it founders fee. We're looking for founding members for this group. We have an extreme special that's going on. And right now, if you join and you decide to join this group, and I think you should join this group, it's only going to cost 97 Canadian dollars to be a part of this group. And you will get, I guess, you get both of us. You will get the community weekly. You get your questions, your concerns. We'll address those questions and concerns in the group. And you'll be able to grow, and you have us to connect with us. One thing I've been talking to the member of our team, and the idea is that this price will not remain the same. We're starting with this $97, and it's not going to remain the same based on what I'm being told here. So this is the time to get on board, to get into the group. We do this. You always see us out here in our channel because we love doing this. We love interacting with you. So we love this and this interaction. But if you want to get more specific, you want to get your needs into specific questions, and you want to get the techniques and some outlines and things to address some of your concerns, we invite you to become a part of the group. So again, 97 Canadian dollars. I'm going to put the link in our in our Facebook chat here. You can click on it, go there and register. Looking forward to seeing you in there.
Yes, so I know we're therapists, and we get questions all the time, and we really wish we could see people one-on-one, everybody one-on-one. But we're local, not everybody is local that listens to us here on our Duke's Institute platform. And with COVID going on too, that's restricting a lot of access. But we wanted to build a platform where we are there for more people and create a platform where we have a more supportive, nurturing environment. And so that is the reason why we wanted to do this. We wanted to see how we can really connect with you on a more intimate level and listen to your needs, listen to your concerns, and really try to see how we can support you in the way, whether it be through your marital relationship or whether it be through learning more parenting skills, how to support your child or your teen effectively. We wanted to be there for you. So click on the link below and sign up today. Just so this is not a contract. This membership is not a contract. So you can join us this month, and our first live meeting is actually going to be next week. So we're looking forward to meeting our founding members, where you can have that expert advice for Christian families, and you know that you can trust it. You know that it speaks to your personal family relationship values, and you know that it is a group or an environment that is also helping you to build or to grow your relationship with Jesus Christ as you're working through your own family concerns, or even if you just want to strengthen your family and just have a resource there to help you. You are more than welcome to be a part of this group as well, because we need each other. Sure. And sometimes, I know for myself, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I have a question and I have no idea how to answer it or to figure it out, I'm very tempted to go into Google to say, what do I do in the next direction of my life or whatever, like as if Google can answer those questions. It is not just so cut and dry. Some of our questions are not cut and dry, and we need somebody to talk to, somebody who knows their stuff, who have helped hundreds of individuals to help you with these situations. So,
and just to add, we're not just, you often hear us talk about parenting or couples.
Yes.
In the membership, we don't just address those things. So a lot of people have been asking, do we address things on trauma? I am a trauma. I work with trauma, grief or depression, anxiety. Whatever the question you might have regarding mental health challenges, we will address them in our membership. So even though we are specializing, and we talk a lot on our talk show here about couples or parenting relationships, in the membership, it's not just couples and parenting relationship. We have a second or a third pillar in which we look at mental health challenges. So if your husband, your wife, a family member struggling with depression, anxiety, substance use, or a child struggling with ADHD or other behavioral challenges, you ask those questions in the membership, and we will give practical strategies that you can start to apply to address those things.
Yes.
So look forward to seeing you guys there. And for those who are already registered, next week, I'm excited to start.
Yes.
The introduction and get our group going.
Yes. And share it with other parents, who they can't really go into therapy right now, or maybe they want to have just a teaching session where they can be listening, and in the background, they want the other person in the family to be hearing as well. Yeah. You can always share this group with them, and if they have any questions, you can contact us. and let us know whatever questions you may have. So click on the link and register right now to be a founding member in our Triple R membership group for re-engaging, restoring, and reigniting your family relationship. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, which is next week, Monday, we will see you again and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed week. Take care.